In an effort to reach more Canadians with some important health and safety information, Ottawa is updating the way it delivers public service announcements. The focus shifting from television to the web. And instead of Government of Canada branded ads, increasingly it's social media influencers who are delivering the message. CBC's Hannah Thibodeau spoke to one YouTuber who's part of that change.
22-year-old Florence Lavoie's French language YouTube videos are slice of life stuff. Makeup tips, dating advice, even one explaining why she hasn't worn a bra for 2 years, which picked up 10 million views.
Words of wisdom right here.
Lavoie's bubbly on-camera personality has earned her more than 85,000 subscribers.
It's like the new era of celebrities, if I can say. People look up to us and they'll take our advice.
She even grabbed the attention of the federal government. The public health agency paid Lavoie $6,600 to produce a short online video warning young people about the dangers of opioid use.
Pour parler de drogue.
Lavoie says the logic behind the recruitment is obvious to anyone under 30.
Younger people don't really watch television anymore and don't get really connected to ads like that because they don't really speak to them.
It's not just teens the government is targeting.
I think this was actually the first article that we did.
Urban Moms is a blog site that looks at the problems of raising a family and was paid $4,000 to be a part of the opioid campaign.
So they were trying to get the message out to parents who have kids who are about to embark on their teenage years.
2 other government departments report using social media influencers since 2015. Public Safety spent just over $181,000 to promote things like protecting personal information online. In a statement, the department says, by partnering with influencers and leveraging their reach, we can seek to engage with Canadians while making efficient use of public funds. The trend is only going to accelerate because it works.
There's definitely potential problems. If we're selecting social influencers based on their reach, but their reach has actually been manipulated by a bunch of bot accounts that have been created to inflate how important they seem, we end up accidentally investing resources in something that's not actually going to pay out.
For Lavoie, she sees the benefits of using influencers like her and hopes the government continues to do so. Hannah Thibodeau, CBC News, Ottawa.
Okay, so what's involved with creating this kind of branded content on social media? We've put together a small panel to talk more about this marketing tactic. And joining me now from Toronto is Julia Yang. She's a social media influencer with more than 35,000 followers on Instagram. Julia is also Miss Asia Canada 2018. And also in Toronto, Ramona Pringle, who is the Director of Innovation Studio at Ryerson University. Thanks for your time, both of you, tonight. Julia, I want to start with you. 35,000 followers on Instagram, that's a pretty big number. How'd you go about getting so many followers? What kind of content are you posting and how often?
Thank you so much for inviting me. So essentially, I just started this as a hobby about 2.5 years ago while I was in university. A friend asked me to do a photo shoot with him one day, and I did, and I got overwhelming response as I posted on the social media platform Instagram. And from then on, brands just started reaching out to me. I would get a lot of messages or follows from like-minded Instagrammers that are also models or influencers from Toronto, from all over the world. And it just made me really happy doing this Instagram thing. In the very beginning, I was very hesitant because none of my friends had as many followers or were posting as regularly as me, but I found that it made me connect with the community in Toronto, all over the world, and I was able to meet a lot of friends that just enjoy the same things as me.
So you're posting based on what you enjoy, but some of this it's paid.
Yes.
What's your rate? And if the government, a branch of the federal government, were to come to you and say, hey, would you post on our behalf, would you do it?
I think it definitely depends on what kind of content they want me to post, as well as what the objective is. So for everything that I would be posting, all the branded or sponsored content, it would have to be something I personally believe in. So I would never post any brand or any products that I personally would not introduce to my close group of friends or family. So I would never post something and tell my followers, hey, buy this, just because I am paid to do it.
And how much are you paid, just quickly?
I think I charge around $150 to $300 per post.
So Ramona, obviously you're very familiar. This might not be something that all of the viewers necessarily know about, but you're familiar with this marketing tactic. How effective do you think this is? And is it worth the spend for an agency like Health Canada through the federal government?
You know, I can imagine when a lot of people hear that the government is spending money on influencers and Instagrammers and YouTubers, that it might feel like money that's going to fluff. It feels very superficial. And yet, the mandate is to reach a specific demographic. Their mandate is to reach Canadians, and it might be that it's young people, it might be people in their teens, it might be moms. There's specific groups that they need to reach with specific messages. And the reality is that for many demographics, it's not in a print newspaper. You know, it's not the Globe and Mail anymore. It's not even, you know, they're not even tuning in to cable. They've cut the cord. And so turning to social media platforms and turning to influencers as a means of reaching the people that they need to be reaching makes a lot of sense. Now, obviously, there's new hurdles that you need to contend with, but it sort of is the new reality. And so now figuring out how we deal with some of those obstacles, like let's say bots that inflate follower counts, or you know what happens when one of these people who may not be media trained maybe takes a wrong turn, maybe goes off the rails. There's a lot of ways that things can go wrong, but it certainly makes sense when there's a mandate that they have to reach, and they need to reach an audience that happens to be engaged online more than other places.
Well, Ramona, further to the hurdles, I mean, are there ethical concerns? Because you do point out, you know, unlike traditional media and traditional advertising on television, you kind of know what you're buying in a way when you put that ad there. But if you're going to a media influencer, perhaps, as you say, who doesn't have media training, maybe you're associating yourself with a brand that you don't want to.
Absolutely. There's definitely those ethical concerns, and I think there's a lot of research that needs to be done on both parts. You know, on one hand, the influencer needs to make sure that their views align with whatever it is that they're going to stand behind and put their name behind. For the agency that's choosing the influencer, they need to do their due diligence and make sure that this person is the right person, that they are credible, that there's not dirt that's going to come up. I mean, we see this with public figures all the time. We see it with politicians, where, you know, it can be something that you may have put online 10 years ago that comes back to haunt you. Something that you thought was trivial comes back to haunt you because it's posted online and everything is available for everyone to see. So that due diligence certainly needs to be done in terms of things being credible and ethical, and there are ways that things can go wrong, and I think everyone's just you know, hoping when they find an influencer that they are the right fit, and really that it's heartfelt, that it feels genuine, that maybe this is something, because they do have a connection to their followers and their fans, that it's something that they maybe have related to in their own lives. Maybe it's mental health issues that they come forward and say, this is something I've dealt with myself, or maybe it's something that they've dealt with in their family or in their own community that they want to get behind for those purposes, as opposed to just, you know, because this happens to be their day job.
Julia, question for you. Do your posts, when you put them up, is it quite clear to the person, your followers, that this is actually a sponsored post or not?
Sometimes it isn't. You'll be surprised. So sometimes when you sign up for a campaign with the website, with the agency that is contacting you with the brand, they do have criteria where you have to say, you know, you have to put these hashtags, sponsored, hashtag paid, but sometimes there isn't really a necessity to make it clear that these posts are being sponsored. And sometimes it could come off as, you know, this is just a brand I like, and which sometimes I do. I find that, you know, for my followers, it's necessary not to just bombard them with advertisement, and to really trust them and to build a trust with them, and for them to see into your life and to view them as a friend.
And Julia, just finally, this is not a full-time job for you, but I know that there are some influencers out there who have managed to make a career of it. Is that what you're hoping to do here?
I think living your life as an influencer is just, there's so much freedom with that, and you could not be tied down in a 9-to-5 office job. You could travel the world. You could essentially be doing anything. And all you have to do is just post online of your life and do what makes you happy. But I think for me to get there, it would take me quite a long time. And I know there are people with millions of followers, and I'm not just there yet. And I think it doesn't align with my career goals in the future. Right now it's just a hobby, but I'll see where it takes me.
Well, appreciate a glimpse into the world of influencing. Always been curious about it. Julia Yang, social media influencer, and Ramona Pringle, director of the Innovation Studio at Ryerson University. Appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you.